Evening. It's 8th of March 2025. Look at that for a shirt. The Miners Association, sponsored by Bill, Gordon and Tony. Thanks lads that you got me that shirt. Well, obviously now I'm in Dale in Kent, but look here. If you'd have said to me 12 months ago, I'd be outside Betty Zanger Social Club and Community Centre. They could have probably locked me up and thrown key away. What were the chances of that? And anyway, I'm here, believe it or not. We're commemorating, the Kent Miners. They're commemorating the return to work. They returned to work a year after majority of coalfields. Just to stop that a bit longer before the site lads turn and sadly talking about site lads, we let them down badly, didn't we, as a union? I mean, I can remember at my pit, Selwood, they used to come, site lads used to get paid at our pit. I think they couldn't go near their own pit, so we came from other pits come to our pit, and only 3 months after the site, you did resentment, they're fucking getting paid for doing it, you know what I mean? And I thought, they made the ultimate sacrifice, well, next to ultimate sacrifice. I think David Jones and Joe Green made the ultimate sacrifice. So yeah, they lost the jobs, lost the fucking jobs. No redundancy for them. Anyway, that's another tale. I've been in club. I'm going to do plenty of videoing in here tonight because we've got a lot of people. Look who's it, David again. Come on here, David. I'm just talking. Every time I'm talking, just man.
Yeah, okay.
What's that t-shirt say?
40 years for the anniversary of the strike.
Thank you, David. 40 years anniversary of the strike. Where'd they get that from? I'll ask you another one. What's his surname?
Off the internet.
Ah, did you? Nice one.
Yeah.
Nice one. Very nice.
Yeah.
Seen some good shirts. I'll go down taking pictures of people's shirts.
Yeah.
So I'll add in there, well, Tim, Betty Zanger, Colliery and Proud. Really good shirt, yeah. But I'm just showing you through the window, Dave.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. Before I go in. It's filling up nicely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice in there.
Yep. So yeah, got some
Go to the car. I left my phone in the car.
Oh, don't need the phone, Dave. Some of the finest people walk this planet are in there today, and I aim to talk to as many as I can. Some, well, I didn't know, 12 months ago, I didn't know anybody from Kent. Now, I've got at least 10 in there I can call really good friends, and other people I just know by sight. How good is that? Banners up, the banner's up. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
The brass band's playing. We've got Joe Solo, all the way from Scarborough. He's come further than me to play here. Just been talking to Joe. He has actually set off at 5 this morning, called in and done some jobs in London, whatever he had to do. Jumped in car, got here. Stayed after this, he's driving back. That's what you call fucking dedication to cars. And I'll tell you now. Right, Dave? I'll tell you now. There's 2 banners in there. Kent Coalfield and, well, I'll show you banners. Kent Coalfield and Betty Zanger Colliery. But Joe Polo, he'll be fighting to grab one of them poles. We're going to have to watch him. Usually see him with Hatfield's banner in his left hand, left pole Joe. That's what I call him. Anyway, I'll be back. Popped out because brass band's playing. They've just opened the celebration. We had a bit of a opening, few lines from Tim Hughes, then Liz French, who I'm sure many of us, well, if you don't know, I'm sure you'll have heard her. You can hear them. She's got a booming voice for a little woman, an absolutely top person. Very, very, what's the word? Active in strikes you were with women's action groups and all that. She falls into the same category. While we're talking about women, International Women's Day is today. Like Liz French, you got Liz French, Heather Wood, Rose Hunter, I'm going to forget somebody now, Betty Cook, Anne Scargill, all these women they were the backbone of the strike, not just them, even my missus and everybody else's wife at the time, they were backbone. Women were backbone of strike. That's what I'm trying to say. We just had a fantastic speech from Cherry Harrison, he was a general secretary in back in site like, and somebody not Tim Hughes, the other Tim, who I'll introduce you to in a bit. He said he was such a fucking motivational speaker back in site. 93-year-old, just stood up there, made a speech and listened to this.
Time for the official stuff. If there's a fire goes off tonight, don't worry about it. We'll put the barricades on at the bottom of the road, so don't panic. I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. Myself, Ray and Liz had this idea before Christmas that it's about time at Betsanger we got together, got the lads in, lads and lasses, people that supported us, and just remembered back 40 years. Think about that, 40 years ago. What did we get up to 40 years ago? I can't remember. It's something to do with March and Corton Wood. We went on strike for 52 weeks here at Betsanger in Kent. 52 weeks, and it was a struggle for a lot of people.
And we never went back with banners flying high because we had the most sacked and imprisoned miners. But we carried on fighting for them sacked in prison miners. We never gave up, and we were so proud of Betsanger. All right, we voted to stay out, but keeping the NUM together was the foot in front. So that's what we done. But we still campaigned. Betsanger done its anniversary 100 years ago. Right, where the Kent Miner, they came from Yorkshire, Scotland, Durham, Wales. But we are proud that we are Kent Miners. We organised this as a get-together. Never forgive, never forget. All right, we can't call it a celebration because it's not. But what we got is good French comrades that will stay in our hearts forever.
We're going to have a couple of words from Terry Harrison, who's going to officially open it. But basically tonight we've got celebration of music. Liz and I are going to do a little act. And we're going to sing some songs. We've got Joe Solo, who's come all the way from Scarborough. Fantastic man, great musician. He's got some great songs, you'll love it. Alongside him we've got Rob Johnson, come down from home. Another fantastic musician, writer, songwriter, singer-songwriter. So they're the acts we got, but we're hoping to finish the music by about 9:45 so people can get together, chat about the old times. Remember those strikes when we stood shoulder to shoulder, or we did the Wivenhoe Walk when we all got arrested. All these things we want you to chat, talk and remember. At the same time, we have a raffle, so if you want to buy some tickets, I think they're going very well. We've got some souvenir mugs as well, the 84-85 strike. Also, there's food on. If you want hot food, there's burgers, there's hot dogs, there's pies and there's chips. So don't be afraid to eat a lot and don't be afraid to drink a lot, because obviously the more money they make behind the bar, the more secure their future is with this club. And this club is where it all started. Without Betsanger Social Club and Betsanger Pit, we wouldn't have the welfare, we wouldn't have all that stuff in there. So this is the important bit. So. Jump on me there, Terry.
Good evening, comrades.
Good evening, Terry.
Well, I suppose it's fitting that we're actually meeting in the Betsanger Social Club because the Kent Miners will always have a debt of gratitude and concern for this small community that was really cut off at birth. This was going to be some village. This was going to be as big as Aylsham. But there were some lads come down from Yorkshire and they didn't want the tip coming down into their back garden. So the first thing they did was to campaign, and that's how come you only finished up here with about 60 houses, and most of us went and lived in Mill Hill. So I hope that I can look back in pride and say that we honoured our commitment and continue to honour it as far as the village of Betsanger is concerned. Well, I suppose I've got memories of this room in particular, because we had some silly strikes. I remember when they introduced a 3-foot chipple at the pit and an hammerlock. And the rippers thought, well, we won't be able to set our rings at 4'6" or 4'9", anything to get the advance in. And I remember we were meeting here and Joe Burke and Lester Magnus really come in and tore us off a strip. We was in the wrong, let's be honest. But that was typical. I suppose Pathos, 40 years ago, although I was off the committee had asked me to come back on board during that closure week, was coming here on that Friday and having to tell the lads, who was one of few pits that voted to go into the pit review procedure, and to this day, I don't understand why our national officials didn't get us that injunction that was paramount to what your committee was trying to do. So, on that Friday, having to tell the lads the game was up. I don't doubt for a moment whether we got into the pit review procedure or not, the pit would still have gone. But I was proud that Betsanger stood as long as they possibly could. And so that's another memory of this room. But I suppose for me, the only reason you really worked in the pit, you wanted to make a living, but it was your social life. It shaped your social life. And a lot of my social life was spent in this room on a Saturday night, especially with your mother from Kempsall. I remember her gliding up and down, and she had a beautiful voice, did Ursula. Yeah. And I can also remember Sandra and Carol, what a debt we owe to those ladies in our canteen. Yeah. How proud we are of them. Isabel, Elma, Jean Davis, Margaret Alden. I look at the news sometimes and the news is talking about they need whistleblowers and how women are bullied in the National Health Service. And I thought, blimey, why don't they get some of our canteen women back? I mean, I just can't believe that that's happening. Of course, the other memory is Sandy Fraser there. Oh, bless him. Sandy Fraser and his cronies, Brian Howard, bless him, and Tommy. Tommy's not here tonight. I think Sandra's telling us the old lads are still struggling. But I suppose their party piece was they used to turn up at the club somewhere between, well, 9:30 would be early. Anywhere between 9:30 and 10 o'clock after having done the rounds of the pubs in East Street. And it was a regular thing. But the music and the dancing in this room, Phil Hughes, I remember particularly, a marine band, it was so great. But more than anything, following the closure of the pit, I took great pride in seeing how people have adjusted themselves. And I spent many a speech telling people that the most intelligent workforce I ever come across was in Betsanger Colliery. You just think of the men and women you met, and you just think of their abilities. And I'm deeply proud of what they've gone on and done. And could I just mention the present? The recent years I've been working with Frank Redmond, and I'd like to tell you, Sandy, that he's still campaigning for your pension increase, similar to the one that we've had, and I don't doubt you will get good news on that in the next few weeks. I'm thinking that. it's going to be backdated anyhow to something that's relevant. And could I also pick out those people that have kept our heritage projects alive? People like Jimmy Davis, Tim Hughes, Jimmy Cruz, especially the lads from Aylsham. And what happens on the Aylsham Workshop Trust, I think Philip's up there, Sean's up there, I don't know if Des and Eric is up there, but you are really the most solid of comrades that I've come across, and you're a credit to your community. So, all in all, I give thanks to the work that Paul Chambers and Kevin Kalaki. Paul Chambers, am I right there? Sometimes I get the names wrong. It's all right, I've only gone with his memory for another 3 or 4 years. But it's these type of things that fills me with that great sense of pride. And you ask me whether we lost or won. I think that we have gained most of the aspirations that our pioneers set out to do. From the point of view of our standard of living, what we have failed on, I think, perhaps, is protecting a mass movement that wanted to go on that much farther and protect the likes of tens of thousands of children that have no home to go back to. Many people still living in poverty and increasing. And it's these kind of issues that we should be addressing, rather than let these personality difficulties enter into our success on maintaining that mass political movement that is built around one thing, really, socialism. And that's why we've got on our banners, agitate, educate to organise. It's never changed, really.
Thank you very much.